What if I told you that banks have been profiting off of your money? Money you deposited, money you borrowed, money you paid interest on. And there's a way to flip that system and become your own bank instead? This isn't a crypto scheme. It's not a side hustle. It's a strategy that's been quietly used by wealthy families, business owners, and even major corporations for over a century. It's called the infinite banking concept. And today, we're breaking it all the way down. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly how it works, who it's for, and how you can get started. The infinite banking concept, or IBC, was popularized by a man named Nelson Nash, who wrote a book called Becoming Your Own Banker back in 2000. But the strategy itself is much older than that. At its core, infinite banking is the practice of using a specially designed whole life insurance policy as your personal banking system. Now, before you click off, I know what you're thinking. Life insurance? That's not a bank. And you're right, in the traditional sense. But here's what most people don't know. Certain types of whole life insurance policies build cash value over time. That cash value sits inside the policy, grows at a guaranteed rate, and this is the key part. You can borrow against it at any time, for any reason, with no credit check and no bank approval required. You become the lender. You become the borrower. You control the money. That's the concept. Now let's talk about how it actually works. Think about what a bank actually does. You deposit your paycheck. The bank takes that money, lends it out to other people at higher interest rates, and keeps the spread. Meanwhile, they give you maybe 0.5% interest on your savings account, if you're lucky. You want a car loan? Now you're borrowing money the bank created from your deposit, and you're paying 6, 7, 8% interest back to them. You pay that loan off, and the cycle starts again. The bank profits every time money moves, even when it's your money. Now here's the infinite banking model. You fund a specially designed whole life policy. That policy builds cash value. When you need a car, a home repair, a business investment, you don't go to the bank. You take a policy loan against your own cash value. The insurance company lends you money using your policy as collateral. Your cash value keeps growing as if you never touched it, because the loan is against the policy, not from it. You repay yourself on your own terms. And the interest you pay goes back into the ecosystem, not to a bank, not to a lender. Back to you. You become the bank. Now let's break down the specific features that make this strategy powerful. First, guaranteed growth. Whole life insurance has a guaranteed minimum cash value growth rate, typically between 3 and 4% annually depending on the policy. In a market where savings accounts pay almost nothing, that guaranteed growth is significant. Second, dividends. If you're using a participating whole life policy from a mutual insurance company, your policy may also earn dividends, which can increase your cash value growth even further. Dividends are not guaranteed, but many top-tier carriers have paid them consistently for over 100 years. Third, policy loans with no qualification. When you borrow against your cash value, there's no credit check, no income verification, no timeline pressure. You decide when to borrow and when to repay. Fourth, your cash value keeps growing. This is the piece people miss. Because the loan is against the policy, your full cash value continues to earn interest and dividends as if the loan doesn't exist. You're essentially using the same dollar in two places at once. Fifth, tax advantages. Cash value grows tax-deferred. Policy loans are generally tax-free, and the death benefit passes to your beneficiaries income tax-free. This is a triple tax advantage most people have never heard of. Sixth, protection. Unlike money in a brokerage account, cash value in a whole life policy is protected from market volatility. It doesn't go down when the market crashes. Infinite banking isn't for everyone, and I want to be honest with you about that. This strategy works best for people who have consistent income and can commit to funding the policy regularly. People who are playing a long game, because IBC is not a get-rich-quick strategy, it builds power over time. People who want to stop paying banks and start building wealth inside their own ecosystem. Business owners, entrepreneurs, or anyone who makes large purchases regularly. And people who want to create a financial legacy that passes to their children and grandchildren. It also works incredibly well for parents who want to start a policy on their children early, because the earlier you start, the more time compound growth has to work. Now let me address the pushback, because you'll hear it. Some people say whole life insurance is a bad investment. This argument usually comes from people comparing whole life to term insurance, which is like comparing a savings account to a stock. They serve different purposes. IBC isn't about the death benefit alone. It's about the living benefit of cash value accumulation and control. Others say you can make more money in the stock market. Maybe. But your 401k is subject to market loss, tax on withdrawal, and early withdrawal penalties. Your cash value is guaranteed, liquid, and tax-advantaged. Diversification is the key, and IBC is a powerful piece of a well-rounded financial plan. And some people say they can't afford whole life premiums. IBC policies are designed differently than standard whole life. A good agent will structure your policy with paid-up additions to maximize cash value growth while keeping the base premium lower. The design matters enormously, which is why working with a specialist is critical. The infinite banking concept isn't just a financial strategy, it's a mindset shift. It's deciding that you are the most important financial institution in your life, that your family deserves a banking system that works for you, not against you. If you want to learn how to set up your own infinite banking policy and see exactly how the numbers would work for your specific situation, comment the word bank below, and I'll send you the details directly. No pressure, no spam, just real information that could change your financial legacy. Like this video if it opened your eyes. Subscribe to Legacy Money Files for more generational wealth strategies, and I'll see you in the next one.